This Friday Night Lights high school football preview show is presented by Villa Maria College, advancing educational opportunity for all of Western New York.
This is Jack Kreuzer for Friday Night Lights on Buffalo Toronto Public Media Class A Section 6 football preview for 2025. This class has a whole new look in Section 6 this season. 4 new teams move into the class from Class B, and movement between the two divisions shakes up a lot of old rivalries. We start with the team movement. Welcome Health Sciences, Grand Island, Amherst, and Kenmore East up from Class B. Those 4 teams join Class A2. The Star Point Spartans move out of Class A. They drop to Class B. Within the divisions, the defending sectional champion, the Sweet Home Panthers, move from Class A2 up to A1, now putting them in the same division with Clarence, Kenmore West, West Seneca West, Will North, and the like. That's a tougher matchup for the Sweet Home Panthers, now one of the smaller teams within their division. Trading places with the Panthers are the McKinley Macs, who moved from A1 down to A2. The Macs were at Highmark Stadium last year for the sectional championship in Class A. They fell to Sweet Home. Those two trade places. McKinley now in a division with Health Sciences. Let's start with the McKinley Macs. They lost in the sectional final last year to Sweet Home. They start the season with a tough task. The Macs host Lancaster on Friday, September 5th. Head coach Brian Davis is certainly looking forward to that matchup, and overall, this season, the Macs with high expectations after falling short by just 4 quarters 1 year ago. The McKinley Macs are one of the teams to look out for this season, specifically because of their quarterback. Cologne Ford is one of our Connolly Cup watch list players this season. He was one of 2 players in Western New York last year to pass and rush for over 1,000 yards. Cologne is one of those players to watch week in, week out in Class A for the McKinley Macs. He's going to touch the ball every play, we know, as the quarterback, but even last year, he carried the ball 100 times for the Macs. Now losing their starting running back Tyrone Hughes to graduation, Cologne Ford might run the ball a little more. He's still going to throw for about 100 times this season, if not more, for Coach Brian Davis and the Macs. An under-the-radar player for McKinley this season, Cardell Staples, one of the best two-way players in Western New York at wide receiver and defensive back. He will tell you himself that defense wins championships, and, well, for Staples, he's looking to do that his senior year with the Macs. Moving to the Class B, Far West Regional champs from last year, Health Sciences. The Falcons move up from Class B to Class A. A tougher challenge now as one of the smallest schools within the large school divisions. Head coach Ty Parker enters his 8th season at the helm of the Falcons. They've been a powerhouse in Class B ever since he took over the program. This year they start the season with a tough non-conference opponent, playing one of the larger schools in Western New York, Orchard Park. On Friday Night Lights, we'll be pumped to have you join us for week 1 of the season when we're at Coyer Field for the Health Sciences Falcons hosting the Orchard Park Quakers at Buffalo State University. That's Friday, September 5th, 7 p.m. We'll be live from the scene with Health Sciences and Orchard Park. Hope you can join us. One of the standout players for Health Sciences this year is Kyvon Pitts. He was just outside of the Connolly Cup finalists last season, giving his statistical year 10 rushing touchdowns, over 1,000 yards on the ground. And now Pitts enters his senior year as one of the most dynamic, shifty, great in tight spaces players in Western New York. Pitts is a big game player. He's on our Connolly Cup watch list for 2025.
We got your week 1, Coach. How's the season been so far, getting into the off-season training?
I like the strides that we've been making. You know, the guys been getting it in off-season, you know, in the weight room, you know, doing a lot of field work. You know, so I coach the staff and the guys collectively, you know, the guys been hitting it pretty hard. They've been working pretty hard. You know, we had some 7-on-7 work over the summer, you know, to get ready, to get our passing game up, you know, because I feel like we can run the ball pretty good. But, you know, we want to excel. We have a balanced attack, running and passing the ball. But I like where we are right now. You know, we got a tremendous challenge ahead of us moving up into Class A. But, you know, our guys will be prepared and ready to go.
So with that, moving up from B to A, what are the challenges that come out playing against almost an entirely new division, and McKinley's in your division now, dropping down from A1 to A2.
Well, not taking nothing away from Class B, because Pioneer, they play great football. South Park played great football, Coach Delaney, and Lackawanna. But, Class A, you're dealing with a different dynamic. My only thing is, because I'm 50-50 split with it, they have a bigger pool of kids they can pick from by them being a larger school. By us being a small school, we don't have that many kids to pick from. But that's what I tell our guys. That's the challenge that we face, and we like challenges. You know what I'm saying? We won Class B 5 years. We want to play the better teams. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we want an opportunity to win a state championship. You know what I mean? But we got some legendary stuff that can be done. We look forward to playing against McKinley. We look forward to playing against Clarence. Our first week we got Orchard Park, which is a tremendous challenge. They're a great prestigious football program. But, our guys, I'm completely confident in what our senior leadership going to bring for our team this year.
A team that may fly under the radar this season in Class A1 is the West Seneca West Warhawks. Head coach Mike Vastola, he knows a thing or two about bouncing back. The last time West Seneca West went under 500 before last season was 2016. The next year, the Warhawks went on to win the state championship. Perhaps that happens again this year, but it's a long ways away from the JMA Wireless Dome. That being said, 4 of 5 offensive linemen return for West Seneca West this season, and both their running backs from a year ago. While they do graduate their starting quarterback from last season, there is certainly a lot to be excited about if you're a Warhawk fan. My dark horse team for Class A are the Grand Island Vikings. Dean Santorio's been the head coach for Grand Island for 25 seasons now. He's got a 135-84 record in that time. Grand Island is one of the 4 teams that move up from Class B to Class A this season. That A2 division is stacked, but if the Vikings can find a way to get into the playoffs, they might turn a few heads once doing so. Part of the reason I like the Vikings as an underdog this year is that their basketball team just went to a sectional championship this past winter in 2025 when they lost in the A2 final against Williamsville South. Could that experience from the basketball team and a lot of those players being multi-sport athletes on the gridiron, may it transfer over? We'll see.
This Friday Night Lights high school football preview show is presented by Villa Maria College with additional support from the WNED Foundation.